What's up, guys? Nameco and Dustin here, Fantasy Smack Talk. This is the QB tiers. You've heard us say it before, top 100, get into the forums, we're running 2 contests. If you hadn't heard us say that, you haven't seen the other videos, so go check those out. Tier 1, we only got 2 quarterbacks, and that's Vic and Rodgers. Vic would be the clear-cut #1 if we could be guaranteed to play 16 games. Due to the injury risk, you know, he's a little bit of a scary pick, but if he does play, he's going to put up huge numbers. Aaron Rodgers, on the other hand, is a little bit of a safer play. He's probably going to put up great numbers for you, but again, his ceiling isn't as high as Michael Vick's.
Well put. Tier 2. Tier 2 is kind of 2A, 2B, 2C, and 2D. All these guys have great potential this year, but we got Phillip Rivers at number 3, coming off a career year. Great talent out there to help him out. We just think he's going to have another solid year. Number 4, we got Tom Brady. Brent wanted him at number 3. Couldn't quite talk us into it. He didn't even throw for over 4,000 yards last year, but 37 total touchdowns. Hardly any interceptions. MVP year. Look for him to have another solid season.
MVP year.
Number 5, we got Peyton Manning. He arguably has one of the best receiving corps in the league. This guy has a ton of talent to work with out there. Couple of injury things popping up, but he's still Peyton Manning, one of the most durable players of all time. And the last guy in Tier 2, Drew Brees. 5 straight years of 4,400 yards or more. He's just really consistent, ton of weapons. But look for them to run a little bit more this year, but they still should be fine.
Tier 3 starts out with Tony Romo. Obviously, he was hurt last year, but obviously he's got great weapons with Dez Bryant, Witten, Miles Austin, Felix Jones. Should be productive. At number 8, we have Matt Schaub. A lot of people said he had a down year, but if a down year is going to be over 4,300 yards and 24 touchdown passes, we'll certainly take that. Next on the list, we got Ben Roethlisberger. He's got a very favorable schedule, and we know he's going to be airing it out to Mike Wallace. At number 10, we got a guy that really moved up our draft board this year, and that's Josh Freeman. He had 350 yards rushing with 0 rushing touchdowns. We think that number's going to change. Plus, he had 25 total passing touchdowns. And last in this tier is Matt Ryan. They added Julio Jones, and this kid's still got all the upside. Last season was 3,700 yards and 28 touchdown passes. He's going to be a solid fantasy quarterback again.
Tier 4 for the quarterback. Start with a guy that doesn't get a ton of fantasy football love, and that's Eli Manning. 5th last year in passing yards with just over 4,000, 31 touchdowns. With all that great talent out there with his receivers, he should have another great year. Next, Matthew Stafford. The story with him is injuries, but if he can stay healthy, look for him and Megatron to have an amazing year. Moving down, Joe Flacco. Another solid year for him, but Derek Mason's 1 year older. Hopefully he and Bolden can get things going a little bit more this year, but Flacco should have another serviceable year. At number 15, we got Jay Cutler. Still hasn't really got things going out there in Chicago. Hasn't quite lived up to what people were hoping for. But he does throw in a nice little boost with his rushing yards. Over 200 rushing yards last year, so you gotta like that. And the last guy in this tier is Sam Bradford. An amazing rookie year for a quarterback. Over 3,500 yards. If they can get a little help out there, get him another receiver, another target for him to throw to, he could have a great year.
Tier 5 starts off with Kevin Kolb. If he gets into the right situation, we think he can put up great numbers. Arizona, why don't you go ahead and make that trade? Next on the list, we got Tim Tebow. I was kind of against this, but then if you look at his game log at the end, he had, in the last 3 games, 5 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns. I mean, if you times that out for a full season, it would be ridiculous numbers, obviously. Next, we have Matt Castle. Sure, they had a favorable schedule, but you can't look past 27 passing touchdowns. At number 20, we have Mark Sanchez. I was really against this. Dustin was a big supporter of him. I'm kind of a little more on board because it's a great analogy to Big Ben with the Steelers. During Big Ben's career, the Steelers asked Ben to do a little bit more. Seems like the same thing's happening with Sanchez. Next, we have at 21, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Guy had a stellar season out there with the Bills. Over 3,000 passing yards and 23 passing touchdowns. Rounding out this tier is Kyle Orton. Man gets no respect. He did have solid numbers. Is he going to be in Denver? Where else will he be? It's all about the situation for him, but if he is the starter, he could produce decent fantasy numbers.
Let's take a look at Tier 6. We start with David Garrard. Never really gotten that much fantasy love, but now he's going to get even less since they drafted Gabbert. It's yet to be seen if and when he's going to take over, but Garrard's going to be on a very short leash now. At number 24, we got Chad Henne. There has been whispers of Miami maybe bringing in a veteran quarterback to take over. You know, that's yet to be seen. If Henne stays as the starting Q, don't expect huge things, but he could be a serviceable backup for you. At number 25, we got one of the rookies in Jake Locker. You know, look for them to be running the ball a lot with Chris Johnson, not really asking Locker to do that much. We're not expecting a ton, so you shouldn't either. Next at number 26, Cam Newton. We hate his situation out there in Carolina. We're just not sure at all if they're going to be put up that many points. Cam Newton, great talent, not a good situation. We don't recommend drafting him. Number 27 and 28, we got a couple of veterans in Carson Palmer and Donovan McNabb. All of this depends on where they land, if they land somewhere. It's hard to say, but obviously they're talented veteran quarterbacks that could have impacts if they land in the right situation.
Tier 7 starts with Colt McCoy. You know, he really didn't put up great numbers all last year, but he's locked in as a starter, and they did get Greg Little in the draft to help him out. Andy Dalton will be our next quarterback, the rookie out there with the Bengals. Sure, he's throwing to A.J. Green, but there's a lot of youth around him, a young guy. It's going to be tough for him to be ranked any higher than this. At number 31, we have Alex Smith. A lot of a quarterback rotation carousel type thing going on out there with San Francisco last year. He did end the year, and he ended it not really strong, but it was good enough that we think he will be the starter heading into this season. And at 32, we have Matt Hasselbeck. We think the old man's going to come back for one more year. Charlie Whitehurst, they might be talking about him, but if Hasselbeck plays well at the beginning, it should be his job to lose.
Alright, in Tier 8, we got 3 guys. We don't really like any of these guys, but as of now, it looks like they're going to be the starters, so we got to talk about them. First one, Jason Campbell. We just don't really like him at all. McFadden's going to be the story out there in Oakland. Next, Christian Ponder with Minnesota. He's the rookie. They talked about bringing in a veteran. They're probably not going to throw him right out there, but who knows, they might. But if they do, don't expect big things. And the last guy, John Beck with the Redskins. This is just a mess. He doesn't have any receivers to throw to. He's an unproven guy. Don't expect anything if he starts. And that's it for all the quarterbacks. Like we mentioned, these guys are going to be moving and shaking. We don't know who's going to be the starter probably until a lot closer to the season, obviously. But get in those forms. We'll talk all about it. I'm Dustin. This is Nameco. Get in those games, too.